All right, I'm about to make dinner. I'm going to have steak, baked sweet potatoes in the microwave, and then I'm going to make some garlic bread to go with this, as well as a fresh salad. So let me show you the ingredients I have for the steak. I have 2 steaks that I have here. I thawed them out earlier. I have some fresh thyme. You're going to need some butter, some fresh garlic, a black pepper grinder, some coarse sea salt, some olive oil of some sort, and some sweet potatoes. And let's get on this. All right, so the first thing that you have to do with sweet potatoes is you need to poke holes in them on both sides, or all sides. Just poke a few holes in them. That keeps them from exploding in the microwave. Alright, so you just do that to both of the potatoes. Just put a few holes with your fork. There's no particular correct way to do this, just as long as you pierce the skin. Alright, now I'm going to take some of the olive oil. I'm going to drizzle it on top of it, and then I'm going to rub it in. Alright, so I'm going to do that with a paper towel so that I don't get that all over my hands. Just want to coat the sweet potato skin in some olive oil. Now, obviously, I have pre-washed these before the video. Make sure you wash your potatoes well, because potatoes are in the ground and they're pretty dirty if you don't wash them. Right. I'm just going to keep rubbing all of this in using my napkin. If you don't mind getting all that oil on your hands, you can use your hands, or you can use a basting brush. Whatever you'd like to do. I've just found that the napkin works the easiest. Alright, so now that I have that all covered in oil, I'm going to take my coarse sea salt. A little bit in my hand because this gets messy, and I'm going to sprinkle that on the potatoes, both sides. It is worth the extra effort, I assure you, even though it makes a little bit of a mess, but I'll clean up my countertop in a little while. Alright, so now I have it salted and oiled, and I'm going to put these in the microwave first for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to flip them over and cook them for an additional 5 minutes. So I'll be right back. Alright, now the potatoes are in the microwave. I hope you can hear over the microwave noise, sorry. I'm fixing to put oil in this pan. I'm going to take that same olive oil. I'm going to drizzle just a little bit in the pan to be able to saute the steaks. And then I'm going to heat my stove on a medium-high heat because I want to be able to sear these steaks. Give it a little swirl around here. And while I'm waiting for that to heat up, because I'm not going to put it in there until it heats up, I'm going to season my meat. So I'm going to open my package. Make sure you let your steaks sit out for about 20 minutes to get room temperature before you cook them. That way they will cook more evenly. Now let's talk about what we're going to season these with. We're going to season them with some fresh ground black pepper. And I have it on the coarse setting here for the grinding. And some of this coarse sea salt. And then I'm going to flip them over and do the exact same thing to the other side. Alright, I'm going to put some more black pepper on this side. And some more of this coarse sea salt. You can use kosher salt as well if you have that. Just make sure you get a coarse blend of it. And of course, if you're on a salt strict diet, then don't put salt on it. But the salt gives it a lot of flavor. I'll be right back. While the oil is getting hot, I'm going to go ahead and prep my garlic. I'm going to get a few cloves of this garlic out. Not that many. And in case you don't know how to peel garlic, all you do is you take the back of a large knife like this and give them a crush, and then the peeling comes right off. Okay, we're going to do the same thing to the rest of these. And it peels off easily. Okay, now I'm going to cut the ends off of this garlic. Now this garlic has a bad spot in it, so I'm going to cut that part out and not use it. That happens occasionally when you get vegetables. I'm going to cut both ends off though. And now I'm simply going to smash this garlic. So I'm going to smash it down about like that. I'm not going to dice this, just smash it. Okay, so I'll be right back. The oil is very hot. I'm going to put my steaks in. You should hear a sizzling noise when you put the steak in. Just like that. That means your oil was hot enough. Be careful. Make sure you lay it away from you so it doesn't splatter. I'm going to sear it for about 30 seconds on each side before I turn the heat up. I have the heat now on about a 3. And I'm going to cook it for about 30 seconds on this side, and then I'm going to flip it over. So I'll be right back because I need to turn over my potatoes in. All right, now I've turned the microwave back on. And we're starting to get a good sear. I'm going to take this a little bit longer. I'm just going to take a peek. That bottom part, it was really brown on that side. I want all of it to look like that. So I'm going to take a little peek at this one. See, it's not quite seared enough on that side yet. When I get it to the second side, I'm going to add my garlic, some butter, and thyme into here. Because this one, so you want to have this nice color like this on the steak. And that's a little bit longer. Alright, I'm going to flip that one over. You have a nice brown color on the steak. Now I'm going to add my crushed garlic that I had in there right into the grease. That's going to flavor up that oil. I'm going to add some sprigs of fresh thyme. I'm going to leave them in there whole. I'm not going to chop them up or anything. I'm just going to throw them in here. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. I can't even with how good that smells. There you go. We're going to fry that up. And I'm going to add a couple of pats of butter to that as well. We're going to cook it about a minute on each side and then turn it over and do it again until it's done. Until it's the correct doneness that you want. Alright, so I'm going to add a pat of butter over here and a pat of butter over here. And a little pat of butter over here. And that should give us enough butter in the pan. Pull the handle around here so I can get to it. I'm going to make sure all this thyme gets fried up here in this oil. Move the oil around so we can have some even distribution of the oil and butter and thyme here. And all this buttermilk, so I'm going to start spooning it over the top of the steaks. I have my stove now on about a 4. And I am going to bump that up just a little bit, about 4.5, because I added some cold items into there. Because I want it to continue to sear. Obviously, when you add cold items in there, you have to kick the heat up to make sure it continues to sizzle. Alright, so now you're seeing all of this is getting this nice tasty butter in here. Now I'm going to spoon this butter over the top of the steaks, and I'm going to keep doing that every time that I flip it. Again, I'm going to turn this up just a smidge more, maybe to about a 5, so this can come back up to 10, because that butter really did cool off my skillet. You want to keep it sizzling. See what the other side's looking like. Not brown yet. That's why we need to turn it up, because we want it to have this nice brown color like this on both sides. But not cooking it on too high, because we don't want the butter to burn, nor the garlic. The garlic is going to get brown, which is fine, but we don't want to cook it too hard. Okay, now we're getting a good sizzle on here now. I'm going to baste it again. This is flavoring the steaks with that flavored butter and oil mix. And I want to keep it cooking evenly, so I'm going to flip it even though it's not brown on that side yet. Oh, this one's nice and brown. So let's trade sides here. Let's see if we can get this one to brown up. Alright, my microwave went off for my sweet potatoes. I'm going to check those. Oh, and they're done. I'm going to sit for about 5 minutes in the microwave to cool down. And this is almost done. And of course, you cook your steak for ever how long you'd like it. I like my medium to medium well. Just getting some nice color on that side too. Oh, now we're getting some color on that side, so that's good. Now I'm going to baste them again. It smells amazing. I wish that you could smell this. Make sure we're doing good. Make sure to keep the oil distributed. I'm going to rotate these again. So try to keep everything cooking evenly. I'm going to flip these over. I'm going to baste them again. Garlic in the oil so it doesn't burn. Looking great. A little more time on that side. Baste them again. Fried garlic is amazing, and the fried thyme is amazing. Now when you get to the desired doneness, I'm going to let these rest on the plate because I'm going to grab right now because they're almost to my liking. This is going to be for my husband, and he likes his less done. He likes his medium, so I'm going to pull that off and set that over there. I'm going to put these garlics on top of it. Put this in the middle. I like mine a little more done than he does. But it looks like this one's done too, so I'm going to put that on the plate. Alright, so now we're going to talk about how we make the garlic bread. I got these rolls from these sub rolls from Publix, from the bakery. I'm going to cut it in half. Make sure you're using a serrated knife to do this. I'm just cutting it in half like this. Okay. And now let's talk about what we're going to put inside of the garlic butter spread. I'm going to move these over so you can see. I'm going to take about half a stick of butter. Maybe a little bit more just in case, because I don't want to run out. If I have any extra, I'll throw it on top of the steaks. I'm going to add some garlic powder to this. Some crushed red pepper. I promise it's not spicy, it just kicks it up a notch. Some fresh ground black pepper. A dash of salt. Don't go crazy, just a dash, because it kicks up the flavor. And I'm going to add some parsley flakes. Now I'm going to microwave this and I'll be right back. Alright, now I have the butter mixture melted. I'm going to take a basting brush and I'm just going to brush it on the bread so they get a nice even distribution. And then I'm going to place this bread on a cookie sheet. Notice how I'm dipping down on the bottom to make sure that I get the herbs and stuff in there. And that extra butter that I have left here, you can put this on top of your steaks, which I'm going to pour it on there right now because it's lots of flavor. Right now I'm going to pop these into the oven with the oven on broil for about 1 to 3 minutes, just until the top gets a little brown around the edges. I'm going to add that make sure you don't leave the kitchen or the oven while you're toasting this bread, or you could burn it. Alright, so when the bread looks toasty around the edges like this, it's done. It only took me about 1.5 minutes. So that's why I say do not leave the oven. You must watch it or you will overcook this bread. Alright, so let me show you what it looks like plated up. We have some nice fried garlic and fried thyme on top of the steak here that I've let rest, because you need to let it rest so the steak has time to soak back up the juices. Some fresh hot garlic bread, and my potato that also had time to cool off. And you'll see when I cut my potato open, it's nice and beautiful and wonderful and ready to add some butter to. So this is it. This is how I do pan-fried steak. It took me about 10-15 minutes total, including prep time. So hope you try this recipe out. Have a good day.